Hi everyone, I'm Oliver. Welcome back to English Flash Talk. Today, we are moving from what I do to what I did. Talking about your day in the past tense is one of the most powerful skills you can master.
Exactly. It's how we tell stories, how we share experiences, and how we connect with others. But, let's be honest, the past tense in English can be a bit tricky, right, Oliver?
Haha, definitely. Those irregular verbs love to mess with your head. But don't worry, we're going to make it easy. Today, Sophie and I are going to tell you about our day yesterday. It wasn't exactly smooth sailing. Was it, Sophie?
Ugh, not at all. My day was a total roller coaster.
Perfect. Let's start there. Listen closely because we're going to use words like first, then, after that, and eventually to help you follow the timeline. Sophie, the floor is yours. How did your day start?
Well, it started off with a disaster. My alarm didn't go off. I usually wake up at 7 o'clock, but when I finally opened my eyes and looked at the clock, it was 8:15.
Oh no, 8:15? That's cutting it close if you have to be at work by 9 o'clock.
Tell me about it. I jumped out of bed and rushed to the bathroom. I didn't even have time to brew my coffee, Oliver. Can you imagine me without coffee? I was like a zombie.
Haha, I've seen you without coffee, Sophie. It's not a pretty sight. So you skipped breakfast and headed out the door?
I did. I ran to the bus stop, but as soon as I arrived, I saw the bus pulling away. I missed it by 5 seconds.
That is the worst feeling. So, what did you do? Did you call an Uber or did you wait for the next one?
I decided to walk. I thought, hey, maybe the fresh air will wake me up. But then halfway there, it started to drizzle.
To drizzle. That's a great word for light rain. But wait, you didn't have your umbrella, did you?
Nope. I left it on the kitchen counter in my rush. By the time I got to the office, my hair was a mess, and I was completely out of breath.
That sounds like a rough start. But on the bright side, at least you made it there in one piece.
Barely. When I walked in, my boss was already waiting for me in the conference room. I felt so embarrassed. I apologized immediately, and luckily, he was pretty chill about it.
Wow, Sophie, that sounds like a morning from a movie. Haha, my day was a bit more low-key, but it definitely had its moments.
Oh, really? Come on, Oliver. Don't tell me everything went according to plan for you. That would be too boring.
Haha, well, not exactly. I woke up on time, luckily. I spent the first hour of my day planning out my week. Everything was going great until I sat down at my desk to actually start working.
Let me guess. Distractions?
Bingo. First, my neighbor started using a drill. It was so loud I couldn't concentrate. Then, my internet went down for about 2 hours. I tried restarting the router. I checked the cables. But nothing worked.
Oh, I hate when that happens. It's like the world is conspiring against your productivity. What did you do?
I ended up going to a library nearby. I packed up my laptop and walked over there. It was actually a blessing in disguise because it was so quiet. I managed to finish 2 reports before lunch.
Look at you, turning things around. I spent my lunch hour at my desk because I needed to catch up on the work I missed in the morning. I ate a very sad-looking sandwich while staring at my computer screen.
Oh, Sophie, that's the definition of a workaholic lunch. You should have taken a break.
I know. But after lunch, things got better. We had a brainstorming session for the new marketing campaign. Everyone shared some brilliant ideas, and I felt really inspired.
That's the best part of the day, isn't it? When you finally get into the flow and feel like you're making progress. I stayed at the library until 4 p.m., and then I decided to treat myself.
Let me guess. More coffee?
Actually, no. I stopped by the park and sat on a bench for a while. I just watched people passing by and enjoyed the sunshine. It felt so good to just disconnect for a bit.
That sounds lovely, Oliver. I finished my work around 6 p.m. I felt pretty wiped out by the time I left the office. Wiped out means I was extremely tired, guys.
Wiped out. That's a classic. I got home around the same time and realized I didn't have anything for dinner. I had to go to the grocery store, which was packed.
Wait, the grocery store was packed? Ugh, that's my worst nightmare after a long day. I bet you ended up just buying a frozen pizza, didn't you, Oliver?
Haha, you know me too well, Sophie. I looked at the line for the fresh meat and just gave up. I grabbed a pizza and headed to the self-checkout. But guess what? The machine broke down right when it was my turn.
No way. Your day was just as clumsy as mine. What did you do? Did you lose your cool?
I was about to, but then I took a deep breath and waited for the staff to fix it. It took forever. By the time I got back home, I was starving. I threw the pizza in the oven and collapsed on the sofa.
I feel you. My evening was a bit more, productive, I guess. After I got home, I changed into my pajamas and decided to clean my kitchen. It was a mess from the morning rush.
Cleaning the kitchen? At 7 p.m. after a bad day? You're a hero, Sophie. I just watched a documentary about deep-sea creatures. It was so relaxing that I almost fell asleep right there.
Haha. Well, the cleaning helped me clear my head. After I finished, I felt so much better. Then I called my mom for a bit. We talked for about an hour. She told me some funny stories about our dog, and it really cheered me up.
That's nice. It's always good to catch up with family. But did you get any sleep after that?
I tried to. I read a few pages of my book, turned off the lights, and laid there. But my mind kept thinking about that meeting tomorrow. It was hard to shut down my brain.
I had the opposite experience. The documentary did the trick. I brushed my teeth, crawled into bed, and was out like a light by 10:30. I didn't even hear my phone buzzing.
Out like a light. I love that idiom. It means you fell asleep instantly. I finally fell asleep around midnight. Even though it was a chaotic day, when I looked back on it before sleeping, I realized it wasn't that bad.
Exactly. Every day has its ups and downs. The important thing is how we deal with them. And speaking of dealing with things, did you remember to set your alarm for today?
Haha. Yes, I double-checked it 3 times. I didn't want a repeat of yesterday.
Well, Sophie, it sounds like we both survived our chaotic days. Haha. But you know what's interesting? Even though those things happened yesterday, talking about them today helps us process everything.
You're so right, Oliver. And for our friends listening, did you notice how many times we switched between regular and irregular verbs? It's like a workout for your brain.
It really is. I jumped, I rushed, I apologized. Those are easy because they end in ed. But then you have I woke up, I went, I ate, and I felt. Those are the ones you really need to memorize.
Exactly. And don't forget the connectors. We used first, then, after that, and eventually. These words are like the glue that holds your story together. Without them, you're just saying a list of random facts.
Right? It's the difference between saying I woke up, I ate, I worked, and saying first I woke up and then I ate before I finally started working. It sounds much more natural.
So, here's a little challenge for everyone watching English Flash Talk. Try to write down 3 things you did yesterday. Just 3. 1 regular verb, 1 irregular verb, and 1 connector.
That's a great exercise, Sophie. Consistency is key. If you do that every day, your past tense will become second nature in no time. I might even do it myself later tonight.
Haha, I'll hold you to that, Oliver. But wait, I just remembered something else that happened yesterday that I completely forgot to tell you. It's actually kind of embarrassing.
Oh boy, here we go. Sophie, your life is like a sitcom sometimes. What did you do now?
So, you know how I told you I ran to the bus stop? Well, in my hurry, I didn't realize I was wearing mismatched socks. One was bright yellow, and the other was solid blue.
Haha, no way. Mismatched socks? Did anyone notice?
Well, I didn't think so until I was sitting in that brainstorming meeting I mentioned earlier. I crossed my legs, and my boss looked down and just started laughing. He pointed at my feet and said, "Sophie, is that a new fashion trend?"
Haha, that is classic. What did you say back? Or did you just turn red?
I definitely turned red, but I tried to play it cool. I told him, yes, it's the I overslept look. It's going to be huge this season. Everyone cracked up.
Haha, cracked up. That's a great way to say they laughed out loud. Honestly, Sophie, I wish I had your quick wit. I probably would have just stared at the floor for the rest of the day.
Quick wit. I like that. It sounds much better than just being lucky with a joke. But anyway, it reminded me that even when things go wrong, you can always find the humor in it.
Exactly. And speaking of humor, I had a bit of a clumsy moment myself at the grocery store. Remember the frozen pizza?
Oh no. What did you do to that poor pizza, Oliver?
Well, I was finally walking out of the store, feeling victorious because the self-checkout finally worked. But I wasn't looking where I was going, and I tripped over a display of cereal boxes.
Haha, stop it. You tripped? In front of everyone?
Yes, I stumbled. My bag flew out of my hand, and my pizza slid across the floor like a curling stone. It stopped right at the feet of an old lady.
Haha. Oh, Oliver, that is gold. What did she do?
She picked it up, handed it back to me, and said, "Son, I think your dinner is trying to escape." I was so mortified, but I just thanked her and bolted to my car.
Bolted. That means you ran away really fast, right? I can picture you speeding away in your car, clutching your runaway pizza.
Haha, exactly. I didn't look back once. It's funny how we worry so much about these little things, but they make the best stories later on.
They really do. I feel like my day was a marathon of tiny disasters. But looking back now, while we're chatting over coffee, it doesn't seem so bad.
That's the spirit, Sophie. It's all about perspective. Though I do hope my day today is a bit more uneventful.
Uneventful. Yeah, me too. I could use a day where everything just works. No mismatched socks, no runaway pizzas, and definitely no broken routers.
You know, Sophie, hearing about your internet going down and my failed self-checkout, it made me think. Do you remember what our days used to look like before all this technology took over?
Hmm, let me think. Wow, that feels like a lifetime ago. I used to carry a huge paper map in my car. If I got lost, I couldn't just ask my phone for directions. I had to pull over and ask a stranger or study the map for 20 minutes.
Haha, I remember those maps. They were impossible to fold back up. I used to have a collection of them in my glove compartment. And remember payphones? If you were running late, you had to find a phone booth and hope you had enough coins.
Oh man, the struggle was real. But honestly, Oliver, I think our days were a bit less hectic back then. We didn't used to get notifications every 5 seconds. When we left the office, we were actually done for the day.
That's a solid point. We didn't used to be reachable 24/7. I used to spend my evenings reading or listening to entire albums without checking my emails once. It was much easier to disconnect.
Exactly. Now, even when I'm relaxing, my phone is right there, buzzing with updates. Yesterday, while I was waiting for that bus I missed, I felt so anxious just because I forgot my phone in my bag and couldn't check my messages for 10 minutes.
Haha. Digital withdrawal. It's a real thing, Sophie. I could notice the same thing at the library. Even though I went there to concentrate, I found myself looking at my phone every time I hit a difficult part in my report. It became a reflex.
It really did. But on the other hand, technology made some things so much easier, like ordering food. Remember when we had to call the restaurant and hope they understood our order correctly over a fuzzy phone line?
Haha. And then they arrived, an hour late with the wrong toppings. Yeah, I don't miss that part at all. Or waiting for the evening news to find out what happened in the world. Now we know everything the second it occurs.
True. It's a double-edged sword. It gave us convenience, but took away our peace of mind. Yesterday, when my internet stopped working, I felt like I was on a deserted island. I didn't know what to do with myself.
So what did you do instead? Did you pick up a book or go for a walk?
Actually, I ended up organizing my junk drawer. You know, that drawer where you put everything you don't know where else to store. I found old keys, dried up pens, and even some ancient receipts from 2019.
Ha 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 ha. Organizing the junk drawer. That is the ultimate sign of internet outage desperation. I did something similar. I cleaned my spice rack. I discovered I had 3 jars of cumin and none of black pepper.
Haha! See? If the internet hadn't gone down, you would have never known that. Maybe we need more offline moments in our routines.
I think you're onto something, Sophie. Maybe we should all try to unplug for at least an hour every day. Not because we have to, but because we want to reclaim our time. You know, Sophie, talking about all this unplugging and junk drawers really put things into perspective. Yesterday felt like a disaster while it was happening, but now it just feels like a series of funny anecdotes.
Exactly. And that's the lesson for today, right? No matter how messy your day was, it's always worth talking about it, especially in English. I realized that when I was telling my mom about my mismatched socks, I felt the stress just melt away.
Melt away. What a perfect way to describe it. It's like the stress turned from a solid weight into a liquid and disappeared. I should try that more often. Usually I just bottle things up until I explode or clean my entire house like a madman.
Haha, bottle things up. Don't do that, Oliver. It's much better to vent. And for our friends listening, venting your frustrations in a second language is actually a pro move. It forces you to find new words to describe your feelings.
That's so true. When you vent in English, you aren't just complaining, you're practicing. So next time you have a bad day, don't get upset. Just look at it as a new opportunity to improve your past tense.
I love that mindset. My car broke down? Great. Now I can practice the word toad. I lost my keys? Awesome. Time to use the verb misplace.
Exactly. Well, Sophie, I think we did a pretty good job today. We covered the morning rush, the work distractions, the grocery store fails, and even took a trip down memory lane to the days of paper maps.
We did, didn't we? It was a lot of fun. I feel much more relaxed now than I did when we started this episode. Talking to you always cheers me up.
The feeling is mutual, Sophie. But I should probably go now. I promised my neighbor I'd help him with his internet. Apparently mine isn't the only one acting up lately.
Haha, the tech support hero? Good luck with that, Oliver. I think I'll head home and actually cook a real meal tonight. No frozen escapes for me.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of English Flash Talk. We hope you enjoyed listening to our chaotic stories as much as we enjoyed telling them.
Remember, guys, your day is a story waiting to be told. Don't be afraid of the past tense. It's just a way to share who you were yesterday with who you are today.
Beautifully said, Sophie. If you found this episode helpful, let us know in the comments. What did you do yesterday? Did you have any mismatched socks moments? We want to hear all about it.
Yes, please share your stories with us. And make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a flash of English with us.
We appreciate every single one of you tuning in. Keep practicing, keep sharing, and keep being awesome.
Take care, everyone. We'll see you in the next podcast.